in a hurry.
You're live.
Great hand signals.
Oh, we're live. Well done. Sorry, I missed that. I was doing something else there, folks. A very warm welcome to you all. This Thursday, the 18th of December. Mm-hmm. This is our final show before we break. It's our last show of 2025. We will be back on your screens on January the 8th. And those of you who are tuning in who didn't see the post,
oh no, we won't.
Who are expecting to see a former guest of ours, Luke Pearce, on. Unfortunately, Luke contacted me today to say he was very apologetic that he could not join us this evening. We tried to rearrange it for tomorrow, but unfortunately, the timing just didn't work. Anyway, Luke has said he would join us for our first show back in 2026. So that is indeed something to look forward to.
And we said we'll see if we're not too busy.
Well, there you go. All right. Well, yeah, I showed you Luke's email that he sent me, so you all know the reason. Anyway, so joining me tonight for our final show of 2025, they are all regular viewers. We are all part of the same team. We have Mike Reedy, the Irishman in Glasgow. Hiya, Mike. How are you? We have Peter. Good. We have. I love the way you always interrupt me. We also have Peter Martin is joining us, and finally, the Clontarf man, Dara Weston, is with us. Are you all well in yourselves, gentlemen?
Great, buddy. Great.
Amazing. Great. As always, Peter.
The good pure man. Solid finest.
Good. Who hasn't got their Christmas tree up? Dara, I know you have because I follow your missus on Instagram.
I have it there. Look at it. Look.
For fuck's sake, Mike.
That's Jesus Christ, Mike.
That's a shrub. You got that from the garden centre today, didn't you?
Are you trying to explain something about your sexuality there, Mike?
I'm the Grinch. I don't do Christmas.
All right, okay. Has anyone done their Christmas shopping actually?
Yeah.
The fuck's that?
Yeah, it's all done for me.
Okay. Oh, good man. Okay. Actually, here's one thing. Just
all you have to do is go down to the whatever place sells yachting supplies and go, right, yeah. What does me missus want? Yeah, grand. Okay. Put it in the basket.
Yeah, all right. I go down, take a photograph, and I send it to my contact in Temu and say, can you send me this? But 50 quid cheaper. Thanks very much.
No, I told you. You don't go to Temu when it comes to life jackets and things like that. Now, buy Ali a proper life jacket.
All right, okay.
Peter, I'd love to see you actually with a hat with Temu, sponsored by Temu, and have it spelled arseways or like a total fuck up. The way Temu is, it'd be just amazing. Yeah. I proposed you do that.
There's nothing wrong with Temu.
That's on the agenda for next year.
Okay, all right.
Where's Christmas tree from?
So, sorry, what, Jar?
I said, where do you think Reedy got his Christmas tree from? He just didn't read the fine print.
Oh, I see, right.
Oh, that's a lot older than Temu.
Mike, this is just pure pig aren't. What rugby player would you invite? I just saw this people being interviewed and they're asked this question. I just thought it'd be interesting just to shoot the breeze with. Before we get into what we're supposed to be talking about, any rugby player, Mike, any rugby player that you'd invite to your Christmas table, who would it be?
Oh, I don't know.
You don't know.
Somebody I could talk shite to anyway. I don't know.
But who?
There isn't anybody in particular.
Someone who'd listen to you talk shite.
I'd listen. I'd speak to anybody or any rugby player.
I know, but give me a name then.
Willie John McBride. How was that?
Brilliant. Okay, that's all I was looking for. I usually just went in your usual fucking waffle.
Peter Martin. Himself, so he would have something in common.
Yeah, well, there you go. Peter Martin. What rugby player would you have at your Christmas table? You can invite anyone.
I have more than one.
No, you just have one. Stop ruining the game.
Oh, fuck's sake. I'd probably have Rob Henderson because it'd be just an absolute fucking blast. You get absolutely, rat arse, the stories. It'd be just legendary stuff. It'd be just one big laugh. It'd be not serious, which would be just deadly, I think.
All right, good answer.
Dara. I can see your logic there, Peter. And while I'd agree with you, I'd say Hendo would seriously damage your drink reserves now.
Oh, yeah.
So as an ex-forward, I would be loath to invite a forward into my house when there is free food and free drink because they'd fucking eat the place out and there'd be nothing left. So I'm thinking Peter Stringer, because he's all into the fitness game. He's a scrum half. Okay, he's a scrum half, so be happy. He's all into the fitness game, so he doesn't really drink too much, and he probably wouldn't eat that much, and he wouldn't be going for the trifle and Christmas pudding and Christmas cake and stuff.
He doesn't drink at all, Darren.
He'd just have a bit of turkey and stuff, and that'd be it. He'd be quiet, and he could talk to the Cork people and who are at the Christmas table. But yeah, no. So be tactical. I wouldn't invite it forward because that'd be unleashing.
How's that? You've just described a guy who's potentially a dry shite.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's not going to interfere with my drink, and he's not going to interfere with my desserts. So that's my Christmas. You know.
Okay, more for you then.
Christmas dinner. He can come around any other Sunday he wants, but all bets are off Christmas Day, like. So.
Jesus fucking hell, the Grinch on Christmas.
Anyway, Peter, you're sad.
Listen, anybody who's grown up with fucking older brothers and sisters, who's the youngest in their family, knows it's everybody for themselves. And I've had years of older brothers and sister stealing the selection boxes and stuff like that, and being the run to the family, getting the biscuit that nobody wants out of the biscuit tin because your man insists that the top layer is finished before the next layer is opened.
Okay, and now we have. I see Gregor. I see Gregor has logged on. Hi, Gregor. How are you, Gregor? Evening, Gregor. Shirley Thornton, interesting choice. Shirley would have Mac Hansen at her Christmas dinner table.
Yeah,
that may be enough to get your face tattooed in his leg, Shirley.
Yeah, there you go. Shirley also says another good choice. Aoife Wafer, perfect, fun, and knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Oh, I hadn't even thought about that.
See, Mike, you just don't think.
Stop that train of thought right there, Reedy. You can see where you're going.
I count it. All right, gentlemen. Let me just ask, Dara, a highlight. You can have more than one, by the way. Okay, just to appease Pete. You can have more than two players. A highlight.
Hang on, you never mentioned anything about who you'd invite.
Yeah, who you invite?
What the fuck? Can't move on.
Brian O'Driscoll.
What?
Brian O'Driscoll.
He talks.
Right, go on, move on. Go
okay, well, thank you. There you go. Dara Weston, one or two.
You put a lot of thought into that, didn't you?
I did, yeah. One or two, Dara, one or two rugby highlights for you, looking back on 2025. Do you have any highlights? Or was there one particular game you enjoyed? Was there a situation you enjoyed? A player you thought developed more so this year? Anything?
Well, keep going. Give us a few more examples.
Oh Christ, no! Just go on. Go on.
The Lions. I enjoyed the Lions tour, partly because Australia were better than I thought they would be. So I was glad to see that Australia provided more challenge to the Lions. I think the Women's World Cup, the Irish girls did very well in that. Were hard done by in certain respects. Particularly the French girl who was chewing on Aoife Wafer's leg like it was a Christmas ham. Never got pulled up because they were in there until the last minute, really, against the French. I don't know. Thanks for putting me on the fucking spot there. This wasn't in the script you sent out.
It was actually, if you look at the list. Go on, call up the list there.
It's diversification.
Look at point number 2.
The one time I did fucking look at it.
Yeah. Look at point number 2, please.
Who won fucking pinned it?
I have no idea. It was you pinned it, yeah, or someone pinned it.
I'm blaming Boland anyway. He normally notifies me of these kind of things.
Matt, Matt would be here, but Matt is on the piss. He's having his Christmas party, and he's a bit drunk at the moment.
I thought he had his Christmas party the other. Oh no, sorry, that was the other night.
Yeah.
Your own professional highlight of 2025. Sure, fucking professional highlight sounds like my highlight from work.
But your own highlight, you should have got that in the thing. Hold on 1 sec before you go on, Dara. Shirley Thornton, Ryan Baird for me made his mark. That's your highlight. Oh,
that's very good point, Shirley. Yeah,
definitely. And Shirley actually Soroka as well. Mike Sheedy, happy Christmas, everyone. Have a great one. Thanks, Mike. And right back at you. Sorry, Dara, go on. Were you finished with your highlights of the point that you didn't know existed, but it actually did exist on the list? Go on.
I had my professional highlight points ready. I was ready to walk into this like an interview. Well, I thought I did very well in this and this and closing that. And I think that's everything. Yeah.
All right. Nice. Okay. Pete, any particular moments of 2025? I can't wait to hear Mike Reedy's. Go on, Pete.
Can't you?
Moments, positive stuff or notable stuff?
Whatever. Just whatever highlights, rugby highlights of 2025. And I'll tell you mine. I've one.
Yeah, I suppose the Lions tour was more entertaining than first thought. Everybody thought it was going to be a walkover, and it wasn't. So that kind of made it all relevant. I suppose there's the emergence, the continuing emergence of a number of younger Irish players coming through, and not so young, like Shirley Thornton's mentioned, Ryan Baird, Alex Soroka is banging on the door. The continuing development and saga of the tens, Irish tens, Sam versus Jack.
Oh God, this is
going to be a little bit controversial now.
Go on.
Yeah. Razzie being Razzie.
That's a highlight for you. That's a highlight for you.
Well, I like to be entertained. I like a bit of controversy. I like something to have to talk about. If we didn't have Razzie to talk about, let's call a spade a spade.
Like, there's a difference between watching entertaining comedy on TV.
Hold on.
The clowns.
All right. If you can refrain from talking over each other, go on, Pete. You finish. Go.
No, just Razzie being Razzie. And the South Africans being South Africans, it's given us something to bitch and moan and complain about, and it's kind of pulled a few opinions from people who may not have necessarily opened their mouth or whatever like that. It's just basically stirred the pot, and I'm all for stirring the pot.
All right, okay, Dara, what were you saying there about what Pete was saying?
I was saying, as far as Razzie being entertaining, I would say, yeah, like you can watch a good comedy on TV that's entertaining, but it's not the same. You wouldn't be as entertained going to the circus and watching the clowns. And I'd put Razzie in the latter category rather than in the first category. He's not fucking Seinfeld. He's more of a fucking Bozo the Clown with the custard
and
the little flower.
I know, but look, he is a damn good coach, though. I'll give him that. South Africa or not South Africa.
He hasn't won the World Cup without an Irish assistant coach.
Yeah, okay.
Just saying.
I know, right, fair enough. Okay. Mike Grady. All right. I know, I heard you the first time. Mike Grady, go ahead. Your any highlights for you and don't.
Well, actually, a very personal highlight for me is Nina Ormond winning the AIL Division 2 or 1B and qualifying for Division 1A. First time in their history, and they also won the Munster Senior Cup for the first time first Tipperary team ever to win the Munster Senior Cup. They are struggling obviously in AIL Division 1A. It's just a bridge too far from them, unfortunately, but the experience will do them good. But it's my old club, so it's a great honour for them to be right up there with the big boys, even though they're kind of making up the numbers, I suppose. But it's a great experience for him. I know
it's an expensive business for a smaller club or for any club really to operate in the higher echelons of the AIL.
Oh, cripers, absolutely. I mean, and they are a very small, just a regional town club, Yeah. And even most of the players are still local lads, that grew up and have played for the club right up through the ages.
That's something to be very proud of.
Yeah, I'd know parents of some of the players now, but I wouldn't know any of the lads that weren't born when I was in Ireland.
All right.
But
I didn't know their grandparents.
I would know grandparents as well, actually, funny enough.
Now, come here, Mike. Any others?
The Lions, obviously. The
Six
Lions
Nations.
The Six Nations was a bit of a disappointment for us ourselves, really. You know, we had some suppose green shoots there, but by and large, it's I don't know. We seem to have taken a step back and we came forward and we gone back, but hopefully we do something in this Six Nations where we progress another bit. The Lions was okay. It was good. Like Dara said, you know, it's good to see that the Australia put up a show, because I mean everybody was expecting prior to the tour that it was going to be a complete washout. It was going to be and after the first test, you thought, Christ, they're going to get hammered every game. But no, at least they put up a show and give it a little bit of credibility. Because in all fairness, had it been a 3-0 whitewash, and it would call into question like the legitimate right of the Lions tour going forward, you know. So it needed to be more as competitive as it was, at least.
But hold on. But let me ask you then. Like, I thought, like the Lions tour, it is what it is. You know, it's a huge spectacle. It's a huge commercial enterprise on behalf of Lions Rugby, World Rugby, and all the nations that are involved in it. But I thought this particular Lions tour was a bit kind of, whatever. Anyone?
Well, it does seem to have lost some of its mystique, some of its appeal, you know. And in fairness, rugby union in Australia has lost its appeal by all intents and purposes. But hopefully that'll rectify itself, because they have the World Cup in a couple of years, and they need to be.
Well, yes. Dara, were you enthused about this year's Lions tour? Like, was it like? I just thought there was something.
I was, but I think the years when the Lions are at their most successful is when there's a diverse fan base. So when there's representatives from each of the four, nearly equal representation from each of the four home nations. In fairness, we haven't had for a good few years, because Gatland was a great man for, you know, throwing a load of Welsh names on a sheet and then pick a few other Irish and English and Scottish. So I mean, probably the last you'd probably need to go back to 97, 2001, 2005, those kind of tours, to see when it was really, you know, kind of like the four nations under one. It was very much skewed towards the Irish. There was only, I think, was there 2 or 3 Welsh ended up getting caps at the end.
I think it's only one.
No, it's only the one.
I thought there was another brought out as a replacement.
Possibly.
Yeah. So I mean, it was, and then the Scots. Well, yeah, we won't talk about some of their contributions to it. Although we can't blame them, we have to blame Van der Merwe's country birth as well for his shiteness and defence.
Yes.
But no, I mean, look, I mean, Ireland, certainly, I mean, the Irish provinces made a few quid out of it. The four home nations made a good few quid out of it. Australian rugby made 30 million out of it, because the money is essentially split between the touring country and the four home nations. And then because they won the series, I think the players got 400 grand, 200 grand and 200 grand win bonus. And the provinces got 400 grand for each player that was gone on tour. So, I mean, that was great. I mean, Connacht got 1.6 million out of it, you know. So Munster probably got about the same, or was there 3 Munster lads on the tour?
I think Munster got about 50 quid.
Well, yeah, you know. The father-in-law.
I know.
That's what I'm saying, you know. So yeah, look, in that way, I mean, it was, but I don't know. You see, there's so much going on in rugby, and then, you know, we were after the Rugby World Cup and all this. Like, I mean, it's, you know, there's fucking Heineken, the URC, and everything on. If you look back 20 years ago, it was much more of a spectacle for Sky. There was a DVD produced afterwards, Living with the Lions, where everybody wanted to see all the behind the scenes stuff, the players' court, all that kind of stuff. That's kind of died off in the last number of tests, or the last number of tours. Well, probably because
they did the sorry, Darren, they did the Netflix show.
Not for the Lions, though.
No, they did, and they also did one for the Six Nations, and I think they did one for the Lions as well.
I knew the Six Nations,
or there might be one coming out, but I definitely saw
maybe there's one coming on Netflix for the Lions. Okay, yeah, because they did the Six Nations, and then Wales pulled out of a couple episodes, and then they cancelled it. So the Six Nations ones wasn't renewed. But yeah, look, I mean, I think the Lions, it's very much it goes up and down, but I think it's always at its best when there's kind of at least a decent representation from each of the countries in the squad.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very good point. Yes, absolutely. Peter Martin, as I've asked, excuse me, Darren, Mike, this year's Lions tour, it just kind of lost its shine or something. It just wasn't the best line tour ever. Far from it.
Well, I would say that a lot of that is down to the noise coming up to it. An awful lot of people were talking it down, saying, "Oh, look, Australia aren't going to be any real opposition. They're a mess." I would say perhaps in Australia itself, they hadn't caught the imagination. Like we all know that rugby league has rugby union by the balls, and there's a player drain, there's a talent drain. Now, Carter Gordon has gone back to union, but you've got serious talent still. It's they come through the system, and then when it comes to union or league, the players seem to tend to drift towards league, at least initially, anyway. I think it's just basically there's just a feeling that there's more better the European competition, and there's a bit of a mess around competition. A lot of people are asking questions about the viability. Are players playing too many games? And there's a fair amount of kind of noise about coming at it. Was it really necessary? Was it costing too much? I think the last couple of tours haven't been particularly. There've been a bit of a struggle. I don't know whether that's an overhang from Gatlin being involved, because, as we've already said, he tended to go for, he had his favourites. He had a particular type of player he liked. Now, look, call a spade. Farrell, he favoured the Irish boys because ultimately, you want to keep when you're bringing a collective of players together, you're not going to go off and design a brand new game plan. It's simply not going to work. You're going to simplify your ideas around the game, the messages you want to get across, so guys get on board in the space of, I suppose, a week as opposed to 2 weeks. So, he was always going to have, there was always going to be a heavy Irish influence, and so it proved for the test sides. Look, there's not an awful lot else, I don't think, really, to kind of say.
Well, hold on, but sorry, Pete, but before you finish your point, then, and to everyone, what you just said there, Pete, and we saw it with Farrell, we saw it with Gatland. Is there then not an argument for a neutral Lions coach?
No.
Anyone?
No.
Right. Well, Gatland
no. Neutral as in what?
The last two Welsh coaches have been Kiwis, so
but they were coaches of a national squad. Andy Farrell, coach of a national squad, involved in the Lions. So would it make or would it be an argument to get someone, outside of the four nations involved in the Lions?
But I think Farrell was picking on form in a lot of cases.
I know, but Gatland wasn't.
And see, it was purely blinkered, and he only wanted his lads. Another thing that actually I would think about that might have affected the Lions tours as well, not just Gatland, but the pre-Gatland era, Celtic Tiger. everybody was like, "Oh fuck it, come on, we'll book and we'll go over to Australia next weekend, watch the Lions for one match, and we come back."
Like totes.
Everybody had loads of money, you know. So I mean, it was. So obviously after that, people were kind of like they weren't going to fly to New Zealand for a week or whatever. But you know, so that would have had an effect, I think, on it would have dampened a couple of tours, you know.
All right. Okay, Johan, I see your comments coming in there. I'm just going to come to a few before we move on, gentlemen. Shirley Thornton, her highlight was Hugo Keenan's comeback final winning Lions try. Yes, brilliant. Absolutely. Johan, let me see. Actually, no, I'm going to hide that. Johan, we'll come on to that now. Just 1 second. Let me just hide that for a sec. Johan is criticizing my beer choice. Pete Carlsberg is a rotten beer. Get a few San Miguel or a Shashi or whatever it is into your fridge. Okay.
Johan,
thank you, Johan.
Because his wife bought him Carlsberg instead of Heineken. Yeah,
there you go. Thank you very much.
Green can, it's all the same.
He'd rather complain about it than go out and get it himself.
Couldn't be arsed. Mike Sheedy, hi Mike. Nina Ormond RFC Club of the Year 2025. Also, Sean O'Brien, Nina RFC on play tomorrow. Munster A v Leinster A kickoff at 1 p.m. in Dublin. Just on what we were talking about, Johan says to me, yes, next Lions coach should not be current coach of a Six Nations side. Ireland have deteriorated since Farrell's sabbatical away. I mean, like, you can't really argue with that, Dara, what Johan just said there. There is.
And I mean, we have had, you know, McGeehan's coached twice when he hasn't been Scotland coach. So, you know, and they were two very successful. I suppose you do need somebody who's been involved in Six Nations coaching one of the countries, you know, who's been involved at that level, but they don't need to be the current coach, maybe. And it also helps if, you know, because like I wouldn't say bring in Joe Schmidt to do it, because obviously you need somebody who's based in the home nations and is watching matches from week to week, etc. You know, so
what about an Argentinian coach?
No, why the fuck?
As a neutral, this is the point I was making.
No, that's what I'm saying. Not a neutral. Get somebody who's coached the home nations, but not necessarily a current coach, but somebody who lives in the home nations and can go to the matches from week to week to see players playing for their provinces.
But they're not going to be selected if they're not a current coach. This is the whole thing. You know, but
that's what I'm saying. McGeehan wasn't a current coach when he was selected as Lions coach.
It was a bit different, to be fair. That was still
there is no criteria set in stone. Same way you don't have to be an international cap. Will Greenwood went to South Africa before he got his first England cap. So there's no set in stone rules for criteria for being a Lions coach. McGeehan was a Lions coach, but he wasn't the current Scotland coach.
What was he doing when he was appointed? What was he doing when he was?
He was former Scottish coach.
This is Richard Parker, Declan. Or your hoodie or whatever it is. Go on. Your thoughts on this?
On what, the Lions?
Oh, Jesus Christ, would you pay attention, really? You know, really. You know, you don't read the posts I put up into the group. He came on here, folks, and he came on here, folks, and he said, "Where's Luke Pearce?" You know, I said, "Mike."
He came on to give his bad hip the last airing, because next time Mauls balls and all, he'll have two new hips. The second hip sorted and everything.
He's a Mike. Very bastard. Will you leave him alone?
He is. Of course he is. Of course he is. Go on, Mike. Go on. Have a say what you
I have no solution to who should be the next Lions coach or anything like that. Just, I would like to think, well, Andy Farrell will be probably finished with Ireland by then, or maybe he won't. Who knows? If he's still the Ireland coach, I wouldn't like to see him doing it again, because I do think it took away from and we haven't. I don't even know if we've recovered, in honesty, because our last soiree was away in South Africa and we done really well there. Then we came back and we were fucking shambles in the Autumn Internationals last year, and we weren't any better in the Six Nations. So that tells me Andy Farrell took his eye off the ball with Ireland. So I'm not in favour of certainly Ireland's current coach being the the coach of the Lions. I don't care who does it after that. They can give Gatland.
Is Andy Farrell losing his gloss, his touch, Mike?
I don't think so, no, and I hope not anyway. But who knows? Like, but we have to wait. I don't. It's hard to know. He certainly. It's been I mean, the way Ireland are playing is being influenced by the way Leinster play, and that has been fucking completely thrown into chaos by Nienaber, as far as I'm concerned, and that is the whole.
But why? But Mike, the obvious reason, and we all know it. Why is that? It's because the spine of the Irish team are Leinster players.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So, well, that's fair enough, and I don't have a problem. When Leinster were playing well, Ireland were playing well. And Leinster,
because Rassie sent Nienaber up to undermine Ireland ahead of the next World Cup.
I fucking don't know whether we shouldn't. I was never in favour of it, and yeah, everybody knows that. But I think he's taken the whole Irish setup fucking backwards, a back step. Because
Nienaber,
yeah. Nienaber, 100%. He fucking should be gone. I've got rid of him fucking long ago. But Leinster were the best team in Europe by a fucking million miles to watch play rugby, like club side. And they're not anymore. Let's be honest, lads. Just as an attacking force.
Hold on.
They're not, though. Let's be honest about it, Peter. No. They're not even in the same fucking league as they were 2 years ago.
Well, like, that's true. I'd agree with you on that. That's true. I'd agree with you on that, yes.
And like, okay, if you want, are they any closer to getting this fifth star that they so?
Here, you worry about getting a third star before you worry about our fifth star.
Okay. I'd love to see Leinster get a fifth star. I don't give a shite about this provincial crap. I'd like to see any Irish team win it. But
I'll tell you, Mike, if you look at the gap in quality between URC and between the European games, look at how Leinster played against Leicester. Look at how Munster played against Bath. And you see the gap in quality that's there. Like, look, let's face it, in the URC, the Welsh teams are kind of fighting amongst themselves for survival at the moment. The Scottish teams, Glasgow Warriors can be very good. Edinburgh tend to be so-so. The Italian teams, they come along, they're brave, they put up a good show, they get a couple of wins, but ultimately they're not going to challenge the likes of Leinster or Munster. And then the South African teams, Leinster tend to send the young lads and the second squad over, and then when they come over, we might get a bit of a match out of them. So, I think we have lost a step in Europe, but I think maybe it's also because the quality of competition in the URC has possibly gone down a bit. Like for years, Leinster were always coming top of the table on the URC for 2 or 3 years, top of the table, and we never won it. You know,
well, we have won it 9 times.
We did well, yeah. In previous incantations, we've won it about 13 times, and if you go back to Celtic League, Pro 12, Magners League,
in its current iteration,
loads of times. We've won it once in its current iteration, once.
All right, okay.
And before us, which they keep going on about.
Our good friend Neil McKeown. Hi, Neil. Munster A game is at 1:30 p.m. Kickoff at Rockwell College in Tip. Live on Access Munster. Okay. Johan, I'm going to come to one commenter before when we talk about
that's practically a home game that's in Tipperary as well, isn't it?
Mike? It is, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Shirley Thornton, Christmas spirit, lads. Now be nice to each other. That's it. We are sometimes, Shirley, but
you try working with them all year and see if you still have any patience left by Christmas.
There you go. Okay. Right, gentlemen. Another thing, that's Shirley's comment there. All right, okay.
Speaking about South Africans, do we want to talk about
what? What, are you having a stroke?
Exhibit out in somebody's eye.
No, that was on the list for Luke. We spoke about this the other week. About the thing. Well, I'll go on talk about it.
Fair enough. That was the only that was the fucking list you sent out. So okay, great.
Yeah, it was, but I had to. No, I put two other points into the chat group because Luke. That was so. Go on. Okay, go on, Dario. Get in there.
No. I was only trying to.
No. I'll tell you the question I was going to ask Luke about that. Right, was what he thought about the incident, and would he have done it? Would he have done anything different? And the subsequent ban, did he think was appropriate to what Elspeth did? So go on.
Look, eye gouging was meant to have been gotten rid of from the game years and years ago. I mean, if you think back, that was, Jesus, I think Clohessy got like 3 or 4 months. Like back in the old days for it.
Mm.
I mean, how many weeks did Elspeth get in the end? Was it 6 weeks?
12
weeks. 12 weeks. And it was probably mitigated down because his mammy had bought oranges on a Tuesday and wrote a note, and there was no clouds in the sky the day of the meeting, and all the random things they use to mitigate, which are just, there's certain things that shouldn't be done in rugby. And that was one of the lines you didn't cross. You didn't gouge somebody's eye. That has always been a one. So there shouldn't be any mitigation, I think, on that.
No.
If you do that, it's very hard to accidentally put your finger in somebody's eye and twist it around. You know.
Yeah. Okay. Pete. Sorry, yeah, no, I know the point you're making there. Yeah, and I agree with you. Peter Martin, as discussed, but that was the questions I was going to ask Luke to see his.
Well,
his
I don't think. To be fair, I don't think Luke would have done a whole pile different, because he only would have did what the referee on the day did and send him off, and that's as far as he could have gone.
Yeah.
Ultimately, Luke cannot influence or have any real say, I think, as regards the commission, the team that cited him, the judge and jury, I suppose, that cited him. So, he's only going to turn around and say, I would imagine, I would have given the guy the red card. I would have did exactly as my colleague, can't think of his name as, did at the time, because the referee did everything right. The issue was all about the ban that subsequently followed.
Yes.
That's purely it. The referee, for once, you could argue, was absolutely in the clear. It wasn't even the discussion piece as regards refereeing. It was with everything that followed thereafter.
Yeah.
Massive issue, and it dragged on, in my opinion, far too long, and it kept dragging the mess that Welsh rugby is. It kept on keeping that.
It took them 5 hours, Pete. Yeah. It took them 5 hours to reach a fucking decision.
Christ, 5 hours. Eat a big, massive fucking steak and digest it that time. Like, you know what I mean?
Do you remember, sorry to interrupt, Pete, do you remember the Lions tour Duncan McRae hammering the face off O'Gara?
Oh,
and I remember it was in the behind the scenes thing. Donald dragged O'Gara out to catch a flight after, I think it was 3 hours. And you can hear Donald on the video going, and they're still in there fucking talking. Still in there. How can you defend it? So, I mean, it seems the standard that these things go on for just half a day or whatever, no matter how obvious and black and white it is, that
it smacks up to me. It smacks up to me. I'm just going to say this out straight. It smacks up to me, like, you brought that historical incident up there, Dara, that there are guys who sit in these things who are scared shitless to make a real decision.
Yeah.
Nobody's willing when the group, those people who are basically brought together to make a decision, nobody comes in and nobody stands up and says, right, lads, we're all here, but as far as I'm concerned, it's crystal clear. This is my opinion. I'm going to throw it down on the table. We won't get into all the ifs, the buts, the maybes, and go through, a list of this, that, and the other. It's fairly that goddamn simple. There was gouging, and that's it. And therefore, max ban. Are we agreed? Or go to someone else. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? None of this. Oh, we have to go through the incident report, the referees, this and this, that, and the other. It doesn't always need that.
Yeah,
it doesn't. And,
and the other thing that delays it as well, Pete, is the fact that they have bloody barristers with them.
Remember what Victor Costello. Remember,
therein lies the fucking problem.
There was an Irish fellow went out, and he was representing, I think, it was 3 nations at the World Cup.
Yes,
he was representing Ireland and 2 other nations. So, I mean, if he goes into a hearing, he's going to want to stand up for 2 hours and talk about and make points about this and this and this and this and cite 7 different examples. Exactly, he's getting paid for the word, like we should be.
Gentlemen, I just got a flash notification up. Sorry, this is now I just noticed something there that
breaking news, P, is it?
It is. The viewership just dropped down to 1, but I just got a thing here from StreamYard. I just got a notification from StreamYard. This is straight up. We are having trouble streaming to Facebook. This may be an issue on Facebook's end. It is possible the stream was ended or deleted on Facebook. We'll keep trying and let you know if it's resolved. Please check Facebook to ensure the stream looks okay. If this continues for a while, try creating a new live stream or just remove this destination from the stream and then re-add it. I knew that because I saw it going from 12 or something right down to 1. So maybe we're not being seen or heard. I don't know. If anyone can tell us.
Maybe we're talking so much interest to realize, shit, we're not coining this because these guys are talking absolute sense.
I can't see the... if I remove that.
Well, who's the elf in the background? Is it Mr. Brosnan tonight? Can he share the YouTube link in the group?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But
if not, we'll after the show we'll put the YouTube link up, and then sure Matt will be putting it on Spotify when he sobers up tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Saturday.
Fiddling with a cow out in the shed or something.
I beg your pardon.
All right.
Beg your pardon.
Now, hold on. Now we'll keep going anyway because it's going to be.
The show must go on.
Show must go on. And it's going to be. We can repost it anyway. Mark Noonan says, hold on. Let me just put up Mark's comment. It pains me to say this, but I think Leinster could do the double this season. Jesus, all right. I don't know about that. They have always flown through the early stages of the season and hit a blip later on. This time around, not such a great start, but this will stand to them as they build to later in the season. They could peak at the very right time. Okay.
So long as we actually start Rico in our key games and not leave him on the bench like Jordy Barrett was.
I see the merits in Mark's. I see the merits.
Okay.
You either win or you learn, and we've lost a few early doors this season. So I think from that alone, perhaps there's, where we might be a little bit under the radar as regards the betting odds. The expectation might be a bit lower because Leinster are not so good, not so shiny, full flowing.
2 for 2 on the fucking Heineken Cup, so
yet.
Yeah.
Or is it 2 in the Heineken Cup?
Look at it this way, right? Look at it this way. Just jumping ahead and just going slightly off tangent, but still talking rugby. We've got Ulster tomorrow night. If we have a situation where the scoreboard isn't favourable to Leinster at the end, there's a potential crisis there.
You think?
Jesus, that way of phrasing that, you could be in the diplomatic service. You're basically saying if Leinster lose,
I must drink. Keep
the way you said that.
There could be a potential crisis.
Chapeau. I mean, could it also be that the best-selling book at the moment amongst rugby coaches is How to Crack Nienaber's Rush Defence? I mean, are Leinster are we an open book at this stage? Where if Leinster can't get, which for a lot in the Leicester match, we were camped inside their 22 and we just couldn't get over the line. But is it a case that when the opportunity presents itself, the teams can just break through our defence because they know what we're going to do?
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Speaking far too much sense there for me.
Yeah,
well, that's because I'm not.
They're in. I mean,
I'll remember that tomorrow. I'll be at the match. I'll have a few beers.
It's never been suited to Leinster's game because they don't have the players to play that fucking system. It's a flawed system.
Well, just while we're on that, Johan asked a question there a while back. Is the Leinster scrum in trouble tomorrow? Angus Bell is a quality prop, makes his Ulster debut tomorrow. I know nothing about him. Angus Bell.
He's Australia. He's the best, probably front row forward Australia have produced since I don't know, going back, since ever almost. That's my view on Angus Bell. He's a young guy. He seems to have all the strings. He seems to be half decent in the scrum. He's mobile. There's a bit of work rate about him. He's fit. talking about the
Leinster-
scrum, talking about one player in particular. Look, it's all about a unit, really. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
if you look at the Leinster scrum for tomorrow, Pete,
I don't see the Ulster scrum putting Leinster under that much pressure, to be honest. I think where Ulster, not going off on a tangent and talking about the game, but we are. I don't think the scrum is the area where Ulster are going to say we're going to get some change out of this. We're going to get some wins here. I don't see that way. I think it'll be more. I think it'll be more an open play and playing a wider game that Leinster would play. That's my view anyway, as regards where Ulster will get some joy.
I would agree with you. Dara, you were going to say something there about the scrum?
No, I was just going to say Leinster, it's not their first choice scrum, certainly starting. You've Jack Boyle, McCarthy, Slimani, Deeney and James Ryan, who's back to make his 100th appearance, Soroka, Penny and Conan. And then on the bench, you have Furlong, you have Sheehan, Paddy McCarthy,
the insurance
policy, Deegan. I think it's very much they're saving. Porter's not even in the squad, so I think it's very much they're saving.
He's injured, by the way, because
Porter's knackered.
He's knackered, but I don't think he's officially injured. But I'm sure he'll be down in Thomond on the 27th. To stuff it up.
I think just to jump in there and make a point. I don't know if any of you saw the RTE rugby podcast there with Neil Tracy was doing it with Bernard Jackman and our very good friend and previous guest Brett Igo.
Yeah.
Brett made a very good point, as he always does, about how the Leinster bench looks an awful lot better than the Ulster bench. And it's about how the team in the last 20 minutes looks and is playing versus the team that starts the game. And I think there's been a shift with Leinster. We've seen it over the last 12 months, I feel, whereby, we've looked at, and I think it's been a national thing as well, to be honest, whereby we've seen Irish teams go out and Leinster teams go out. And the first 15 is locked and loaded. And then you're looking at the bench and you're just scratching your chin going, you'd be concerned about there's a drop-off in quality. There's a drop of intensity. There's nothing there. There's nobody else coming on who's going to give that bit of oomph, give that bit of difference. Yeah. On the other hand, now we are seeing that with Ulster, with Leinster in the last 12 months. We are definitely seeing that. It's a 23-man game. Obviously it is, but it's even more so now because the quality is there in the bench, never mind the first 15.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Pete. Thanks, Dara. Mike Reedy, you've been you look like you're falling asleep there, but so I'm gonna bring you back in.
Okay.
Let's hear from you about all this that has been discussed. What Pete was just saying there. What do you think?
I haven't seen. No, I'm going to be honest. I haven't seen either of the teams for it's tomorrow night. Leinster. Ulster, yeah.
Tomorrow night, 7:45.
7:45. Okay.
Make sure you put kettle on, Mike.
I'll watch it. I'll be watching it, but I'm afraid during the day, other things.
Get a little hot water bottle for yourself.
No, I'm fine.
Treat yourself to a bit of haggis.
Oh, here you go. Sorry, hold on, Mike. Just one sec. Obviously, something did happen on Facebook. Mark Noonan, what happened?
What happened?
We don't know.
We were talking about you, Mark. We were talking about you, so we just removed you for 5 minutes.
We haven't a clue what happened. I just got a notification flashing up on the screen here that something happened.
We need this rolling banner.
So who have Leinster picked in their back?
Sort that out, please.
Who have Leinster picked in their back row or the backs for tomorrow's game?
Dara. I know James Lowe's there. Frawley's at 50.
Luke McGrath, Prendergast, James Lowe, Tector and Rico in centre, Kenny on the other side, and Frawley at 15. And on the bench, you have Fintan Gaughan, Harry Byrne, and Ruben Maloney.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest, Joe. I mean, I've been one of the. I did slaughter the Byrne brothers. I have to say, I said neither.
Yes, you did.
You don't know any of those players, do you, Mike? Honestly,
Harry Byrne has turned his career around by going to Bristol. By the way, he really has.
Yes.
and he looks a player now. He looks like a genuine player, and he's going to push Sam Prendergast for that shirt, so he is, and so he should. And
but that's what we need. We need competition.
Absolutely, you need. That's exactly what you need. That's exactly what you need. I'll tell you one thing. I think Ulster could give. You read out that team there. I think Ulster could give you a game because they've been playing very, very well. Where is that? Is that game in Belfast?
No, it's in the RDS.
Oh,
RDS. Okay, or not
the
the
Aviva.
RDS. The Aviva. Is
The
it?
Aviva. Yeah.
Well, sorry, yeah.
Okay,
Temporary
gents,
RDS.
we have 10 minutes left, and a couple of things I want to ask. I want to talk about before we go on to our usual win news or draw. Dara, I heard a conversation about this thing. Oh, Facebook is messing up again. I don't know what's going. Anyway, we'll sort it out afterwards. Irish and French players reciprocating the sabbatical aspect to the likes of Barrett's, Ione coming over to Leinster.
Yeah.
Would it make sense for Irish and French players, Dara, to go over to Super Rugby, or would that work? Or is it something to be considered, Dara?
I don't think the Kiwis are necessarily sending Rico and Jordy Barrett over here to get experience or sending players to Japan for it. I think it's because they need the money, because the New Zealand Rugby Union has been on their arse for a while, especially while they were suing your man who owns Manchester United because he pulled out of the sponsorship deal with them.
No, the Ineos.
Yeah, so I think a lot of it is kind of, it's not so much to broaden their experience, it's throw them out for a couple of months, get their wages paid and get them back. I mean, would the players get great experience? Yeah. Have we that many extra players that we can afford to send them over to New Zealand? I don't think so. I mean,
but
next year there's going to be one less. Sorry, just one thing though. Next year there's going to be one less Welsh club in the URC. So the talk at the moment is, well, they should bring London Irish in. So if that's the case, you'll get a lot of Irish players going over to London Irish. Will the IRFU kind of get involved and try and stock London Irish a bit? So don't know.
I don't know. I don't know the optics of that, Dara, would be detrimental.
I mean, I don't think it doesn't really suit anybody. I think to send a player somewhere for 6 months, half a season. I think it's being done out of financial necessity. That there's a chance to make money out of it. Like, if you have a fancy car, you can rent it out for a wedding, that kind of thing. All right.
Okay. Good point. Thanks, Dara. Peter Martin, your thoughts on this? What as I've asked Dara, would the reciprocal sabbatical idea of Irish or French players going over to Super Rugby, would that suit Northern Hemisphere players, or is it just, as Dara said, financially motivated?
Well, I would look at it personally speaking. I know the New Zealand Rugby Union are under the cosh financially, and I think the New Zealand dollar is kind of weak and so on. So look, that makes sense. I would be looking at it from a purely player development point of view, as regards a swap. We'll just take the example of the likes of a player like Hugh Cooney with Leinster, okay? Guys who aren't perhaps I'd like to think and maybe hope that perhaps a conversation has perhaps happened where it has been discussed and maybe for very good reasons has been dismissed, but for not the reasons, based around money, because look, we know money isn't necessarily an issue for Leinster or for the Irish Rugby Union. But what I would say is perhaps player development might be. Like, we've taken foreign players in, and I'm not going to list them all. The most current player we have who's players who are non-Irish and who've come from an external environment are Rabah Slimani and Rico Ione. Obviously, we previously had Barrett. Rico and Jordy came from the similar setup insofar as it's New Zealand All Black setup. Rabah has come, albeit he's a little bit out of the French setup. He has come from top 14, so he's brought that into the setup. But ultimately, he's kind of brought his piece. If you want to basically use a kind of a metaphor, like, his piece into the Irish jigsaw, his French piece or his New Zealand piece into jigsaw. I think there's a way, or there's a path for the likes of a Hugh Cooney, or you could name other Irish players to go the reverse. And it's not about the finances; it's about player development, learning something in the environment that is a Super Rugby setup, playing in New Zealand. Look, it's happened previously with Irish players. Look at John Hayes. John Hayes spent a couple of seasons. Granted, it wasn't Super Rugby at the time, but he played for, was it Maris Club? I stand to be corrected on that. Someone like Maris Club or something like that down in New Zealand. There are other players. Ollie Jaeger has gone to New Zealand and basically got developed brought on a bit more after coming through the Irish school system. Now, I just think I think it's something that shouldn't be shut down. I think there's room for it. Why not?
Okay.
Trial it. See, do young Leinster players or any other players in the other provinces who are knocking on the door, and it's just not.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, no, I know exactly the point.
Have no regrets about it. That's my point.
Yeah. Okay.
Plus,
No, it's a fair point, Pete. I know the point you're making. Mike Reedy, your thoughts on this? Irish and French players going over for 6 months to Super Rugby or whatever it may be.
Well, from what Peter is talking about there, it's more fringe players than marquee players. I mean, the players that are coming over here from New Zealand, etc., are marquee players, aren't they? Really. So yes. The difference, if you're saying like, we're not going to be sending any of our fucking marquee players to Southern Hemisphere to play. It's just not going to happen because they can't afford. They couldn't afford. They can't afford the wages of their own players. So they're not going to be. That's not going to be happening. So I would agree what Peter's just saying there. If there are like French players, people like your Hugh Coonies and players like that, that mightn't be getting a game here. And I mean, Ollie Jaeger is a very good example. He did develop his game and came back a better player. So there is maybe just an opening there for some players, yeah. But certainly not first team players, for any of the provinces. I don't think any of them will be going anywhere anytime soon, and French players won't go anywhere.
All right, okay. As Matt Williams, sorry, go on there, yeah.
I had on my bingo card that Mike Reedy would at least give out about foreign mercenaries coming over and putting their bits in our jigsaws. And not a bit of a rant out of him.
No, I've changed my tune a little bit now. I've took a
No, you have.
Because I have admitted that Rabah Slimani has been a fantastic addition to Irish rugby, because his influence, like on young Clarkson, by the way, it seems to have
100%.
You said it, Peter.
I
will put my hands up and say Peter Martin said this more than a year ago, and he was right, and I was wrong. So
I tell you what, Matt Williams had a one sentence reply to this. He said,
"No fucking way."
No, he wasn't.
Sorry, not a fucking chance, mate.
No, he said it wasn't quite that. He said Antoine Dupont does not need to go to Super Rugby to prove he's the best player in the world.
I agree with him.
Yeah, but no, I mean, neither does Hugo Keenan, but a Finton Gunn may be going over there or something like that. But the problem, if you go down that road of sending young players over, is then we'll have the Munster representative coming on the next show giving out, and you're fucking sending young Irish qualified players over to New Zealand when you could have sent them down to Munster. We'd give them a game every week. So,
Mike Reedy, ranting. Would you say that? No. Would you say that?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If they're not going to get a game for Leinster, I don't care where they go.
Oh,
have
okay.
They started you on a course of drum before you go into the
okay, gentlemen. Stop for a second. One last thing, right? We are coming up to the hour mark. Okay, we're going to go over, per usual.
Woo!
Peter Martin, the URC experiment with South African teams, has it worked for, more so has it worked for the South African teams? Because and I just actually, funny enough, I have per usual, I have a quote I'm going to read for all of you. This is from, I'm not going to tell you who the journalist is, you'll probably work out who it is. When it comes to the URC away games for South Africa, and likewise when the Munster, Ulster, Leinster, Connacht have to go over to South Africa, right? I quote, "There are directors of rugby who despair of the vast trips involved just when they are finding their rhythm in the season, and who believe there is no way the competitions can last long in the present formats," he wrote. Back home, let me just hold on. He says, back home in a revitalized Curry Cup, say the South African provinces are huge brands. Here in the URC, they are pipsqueak. Peter Martin, your response.
Oh, I wouldn't necessarily agree with that at all.
Okay.
I do think, look, I suppose it's like we know, or my opinion is that the Irish teams are going to benefit from playing the South African teams. Okay, if we're positioning ourselves as the better teams in the league, which I think we kind of are, do the South Africans review playing us as an addition to their to their evolution, to their style of play, to them getting that 1% better? I would like to think that they do. That they do.
They won't admit it.
Well, I'm not. Don't know about that. Well, here's the thing, Mike. Right, the South Africans have brought on board possibly one of the best attack coaches in world rugby, in Tony Brown. Like, he's widely regarded in the Southern Hemisphere, certainly anyway. And like, we have to kind of, suppose, give him some kudos because we've seen bits of him up here when South Africa have come up here. That he's done an awful lot for South Africa. He's like, they've moved, let's call a spade a spade. The South Africans have evolved their game, and they're evolving their game because they can, not necessarily because they want to. They could basically turn around and decide, we're just going to keep the same brand of rugby, because ultimately they beat the shite out of the opposition. That's what they do with their pack. And there's fuck all any of us can really do about it.
Well, Pete, they've no travelling support, or very little. And then for their home games, very little support. But for their national team, massive support. But it's like the Welsh game.
Well, the Derby games down there are quite big.
Yeah,
specifically the local Derby games.
They are quite parochial.
And look, they can't be
a Derby
big for any game.
No, a Derby game, Dara, is big anywhere in any sport. The question is, I know, yeah. The question is it good for the South African sides to be in the URC when they could potentially? Because remember, lads, they play their top players fuck all in the URC. Their top players get rested more so than they play.
Listen, hang on. I'm just going to jump in there. Right, Peter Burke. What matters? What is it that matters to them most? That's what all boils down to.
Money.
Winning.
Outside of that,
money.
What is the one thing we get painfully reminded of the whole time?
The fucking World Cup.
Thank you, Mike.
Oh, the World Cup. Sorry. All right. But again, that's about money as well. Everything's about money. It's all about money.
All that matters. Listen,
that's the holy grail.
Is hardly worth a shite as a currency, but they consistently they'll be doing it until Australia and possibly beyond. That's what matters. So if it's a case that they are now, don't forget they have. You're talking about they have fuck all the support at home. That's whatever. Away from home, there is an expat population.
For the national squad, Pete. For the national squad, but the club.
But I think they do come together a little bit.
You might see about 5 or 6 of them in the RTS or the Aviva or Thomond Park.
Do you know what it is, Peter? They're willing to take the hit because it means if they get another World Cup, they'll be happy for it.
All right, okay. Dara, we're 5 minutes over time.
I think 5 minutes is nothing. Come on. You got to remember, this is like a wedding speech. People are betting on
it's our last show. It's our last show of 2025.
Give it a rest, for fuck's sake.
I would say, look, I mean, they're definitely making money out of it, because if you look at it, they have a separate set of sponsors down in South Africa to what we have here. They have Castle Lager, who just sponsored the South African games. BKT are the primary sponsor down there, or sorry, Vodacom are the primary sponsor down there. Yeah. Up here, it's BKT, the tire manufacturer. Yeah. You've got to believe that they're getting money off the sponsors through Qatar Airways being the official airline or whatever, because they have to travel more long distance than the other teams.
Emirates.
So no, it's Qatar, because that's what the refs have on their jersey. Qatar Airways.
I think Emirates is the Champions Cup, Mike. I think.
I think so. So I mean, you've got to they've got to be getting more money for the traveling, because otherwise it just wouldn't make financial sense for them to take part in it. You know, if you have to send 30 lads business class, nearly every
staff,
and staff, and then send them over for 5 or 6 weeks while they play a couple of games each half of Christmas, each side of Christmas. So I think they've got to be getting money out of it, and it's giving them something else to measure against than just playing in their own league, just playing their own kind of domestic league. So
no, fair enough. Okay, Mike Reedy, your thoughts on this?
What I object to is them being in the European Cup.
I know you don't like them in the European Cup, Tara. I know that.
No, they shouldn't be in the European Cup. Like, fair enough.
I agree with you. Sorry, go on, Mike.
They fell out of favour with the Super Rugby Southern Hemisphere competition, and they couldn't win it. None of the South African teams are winning it. I mean, New Zealand teams won that fucking year after year after year, and South Africa couldn't win it. And I think they bailed out because they don't fucking like not winning. And now New Zealand are going cap in hand to them to get them back, get their club sides back into the Southern Hemisphere to play again, because it's on its arse. And there's no doubt about it. In my opinion, they have enhanced the URC, but the teams, the South African teams coming to play in the competition, they've as a competition, they've like it's a lot more competitive now, because the Welsh teams have gone backwards. The two Scottish teams have kind of maintained the status quo for a number of years now, and the Irish teams have been the same, and the Italian teams have got slightly better. But I think it will benefit both us and South Africa, because they are getting to play a different kind of a brand of rugby. Playing up here, it is different. The way it's refereed, and it'll probably stand them in good fucking stead, something. Going forward, it'll stand them in good stead when it comes to the World Cups again, even though they don't need the fucking extra boost.
I wonder, though, gentlemen, if there is there smaller stadiums in South Africa that they can play these games in? Because what they're doing at the moment is the stadiums they're playing in. It looks like there's about 50 people in this 80,000 seater
World Cup stadiums, and they have to use them. The same reason why Qatar want to get a rugby competition over there, because they have these massive football stadiums with no teams to play in them.
Yeah, so they missed a trick, because they put the cameras at the same side that the fucking actual
crowd
attendance. Right? If they had it the other way around, the cameras were at the other side of the pitch, and at least it'd look as if there was.
I would say don't move the cameras, just sell the tickets for the other side of them.
Yeah, exactly.
They give them away. They give tickets away. That. See, some of the games, schools get free tickets, and they get all sorts of lunatics going to games that sing songs. And to be fair, there seems to be an atmosphere at some of the games.
They do,
And
but
there
they
is-
swim.
some of the-
They have
some of the
they have
games are
swimming
like
pools
Mexican
and
disco. Like, I mean, when it's an evening game and there's all the people are holding their phones up in the air with the lights on because some Coldplay song is being played, and the lads down the pitch are trying to scrum, and it's kind of
Yeah.
like, come on, now you're at a rugby match, not a fucking concert.
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
But
I
the other
have,
thing, Mike, when you said about the two Scottish teams kind of maintaining, the South Africans will always, no South African worth his salt will let that comment pass without saying that the reason that Edinburgh or Glasgow won the URC was because of Franco Smith, who's a SAFA coach.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Because they went
sure.
on about
Okay,
that.
gentlemen. Let's just go on to games coming up this weekend. Who's winning? Who's losing? Who's drawing? Mike Reedy, I will ask you first. We have the Interpro on tomorrow night, kicking off at 7:45. We have Leinster are entertaining Ulster in the Aviva.
I actually think Ulster are going to really push you into this game. By the way, I
That's
genuinely
brilliant,
do.
Mike. That's a fantastic statement. Who's winning?
Probably Leinster will probably scrape it, but just about.
Thanks very much. Yeah, just you cut through the fucking bullshit and then you finally get an answer out of it. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, excellent. All right. Actually,
Leinster will probably come out and smash them.
I had one for Luke, Mike. Maybe I'll leave it here. Leicester are at home to Gloucester. Gloucester, I don't know. Leicester, Gloucester. What do you think?
Leicester home to Gloucester. Yeah.
Easily, yes, for me, yes. Ospreys entertaining your team, Mike. Munster.
I'm going to have to go with Munster, but not by a lot, by the way. It won't be convincing. I think they'll get over I think they'll get the 4 points. They won't have a bonus point.
Okay, and the other Welsh team, the Dragons, are entertaining Connacht.
Oh, I think Connacht.
All right. Okay. All right, Peter Martin. Thanks, Mike. Peter Martin. The Interpro tomorrow night. Leinster. Our team. You, me, and Dara. Our team. Leinster. For once, there's more Leinster representation on this bloody show than there are Munster. Apart from the Monday show when it's just constantly. Actually, no, Matt is on the Monday show as well. He's the.
And I stood in from on Monday to bring.
You did. You did indeed. So, Pete, Leinster versus Ulster.
I think it's going to be a cracking game, first of all.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I would, the home advantage, I would hope we do it, but I do think it'll be tight. I think Leinster by 5 points.
All right. Okay. The Premiership, Leicester, Pete. Leicester taking on Gloucester. I have it on the list, so I might as well just talk about it.
I don't care.
I know you don't care, yeah. I know.
Yeah.
But I had it there. You know why I had it.
Yeah, I know. I don't apologize. Move on. Let's go.
Ospreys, Pete, entertaining Munster.
Ospreys, entertaining Munster. Yeah. That could be another interesting game as well. You have a Welsh side fighting for its life, and you have Munster who've had a bit of a wobble recently against Bath last time on the road. A bit patchy.
Yeah.
Look,
Pete,
I expect what?
So I was going to say, Bath are a bloody good side. It would not surprise me if Bath were in the Heineken Cup final this year.
Their fly half is fucking amazing.
He's shite. Shut up. Go on, Pete.
Anyway,
you were saying Ospreys, Munster. Who's winning?
Yeah, I think I would fancy Munster slightly.
All right.
To get that, get the away win.
Okay, and I said to Mike, the other Welsh team, the Dragons are entertaining Connacht.
Yeah, improving team, Dragons, but so are Connacht, so I will back the boys in green.
All right. Okay. Dara, to you, Leinster entertaining Ulster. Interpro time. Leinster.
Yeah,
right.
there you go. Leinster.
Crap.
Be a big win, Dara. Big scoreline.
No, I think
tight.
I think Ulster could actually give us an upset in the first half, but ultimately I think the Leinster bench will bring it back around.
Okay.
You know, I think Richie Murphy and Rory Best are doing good things up there. But yeah, I think the final result will be Leinster.
Could you be fucking arsed about Leicester and Gloucester?
Not really. I'll go for Leicester because it sounds like Leinster.
Okay, very good. Ospreys entertaining Munster, Dara.
Yeah, I mean, as Pete said, look, I mean, Munster won last weekend, but they made hard work of it. I mean, they you know, the scoreline didn't reflect how kind of laboured it kind of looked at times. So, you know, as Pete said, you've three. I mean, essentially, look, you kind of believe Cardiff will probably survive because they're the capital city. So you have three other teams fighting for two places. So I wouldn't write them off. I think it'd be tough, but obviously I'm obliged to say Munster. But I think it'll be tight.
Okay, and finally, Dara, Dragons are entertaining Connacht.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I think. Look, it could be a tough match for Connacht. I mean, last weekend was basically like a run out in the training ground for them.
Yes,
it was like watching somebody kick a puppy. So you know, I very much doubt Stuart Lancaster will. I'd say he probably spent Monday going on about the 7 tries they left on the pitch rather than the ones that they did score. So I don't think they'll be going up for kind of puffed up, but I'll say Connacht.
All right. Okay. Connacht, sorry, let me get my pen. Connacht and pretend.
By the way, see that tight head, that Sam Elo, that tight head prop for Connacht. I think he's the real deal, by the way. I think he's going to be a fucking star, that boy.
Grand job. Brilliant, Mike. Thanks a million. Okay, folks, that is all we have time for. That is our.
Like he was busy pretending to get his pretend pen.
That is our the end to our last show of 2025, a year where we've had some spectacular guests on, really interesting guests on. You saw my post about it in the group, and we are all very proud of what we've achieved this year. And a large amount of it is thanks to you lot for watching and commenting and basically hitting the like button on YouTube, hitting the subscribe button on YouTube. It doesn't cost you anything. And later, when actually Matt won't do it tonight because he's 4 sheets to the wind at this stage. Matt will do it tomorrow or whatever. But thank you all, and my thanks are to.
You didn't mention what Matt's doing tomorrow. Spotify. Mention it.
Spotify. Yeah, hit like on Spotify. My thanks are to my teammates in this endeavour. We're all parts of the same team. Mike Reedy, Peter Martin, Dara Weston. Gentlemen, I wish you all a very happy and peaceful Christmas, and we shall do it all again next year. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Everybody, happy Christmas
to everybody.
Happy Christmas, everyone.
Yeah,
there you go.
In with you for Christmas, and don't be drinking that Carlsberg shite.
Get it into you. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Folks, thank you very much. Good luck, good night, take care.
Good luck.